last round, Shane?
Yeah, listen. I mean, it was 40 to 50 seconds into. I think I looked across at Josh Pritchard, who's my assistant, and I said, "How long have we got?" And at that stage, it was about 2 minutes. So I think it was maybe 50 seconds into the last round, but there's no towel going in. I mean, when you're so far up on points, well, he should have been anyway. I thought the scorecards were far too close. You know, he was always going to be able to survive that last 2 minutes.
What do you think it was? He missed with a shot?
I think he missed with a long left hook, and yeah, I mean, when you're tired and you're fatigued, your muscles are tired and fatigued. Just an awkward shot, and EUBANK was jumping in all night long, coming in with his elbows, and you know, physically the two of them were tying each other up. It was quite clumsy on the inside. But there was no issues with his shoulder throughout camp, so yeah.
How big a concern is it, Shane, if obviously he's got this shoulder injury, that he's going to be ready in time for the final?
It's a massive concern, but it's a massive concern for the tournament. George Groves' health is paramount.
Callie, is there any scope for moving the dates, if possible, if it comes to it, because George has got this injury? I mean,
we have a scope within when the tournament has to be completed. I won't go into details on that now, but we'll wait till Monday. You know, we're hopeful that with those sort of injuries, it can be that he can train very, very quickly again. If it's just a case of it popping out, but you don't know. No one knows if there's any damage until the scans have been analysed by experts. And I've had a lot of experience with shoulder injuries with athletes of mine, and even the first diagnosis, I still want to see a second and a third one as well on the shoulder. You know, it's a big muscle when it comes to boxing. It's a complicated one. But I've seen those sorts of injuries and boxers fight very quickly again. It really depends on whether he's had luck or bad luck in that moment. But I would say, add to it, I mean, the way he boxed and tied him up just with the right hand and stole time was, for me, heroic. You know, it was certainly a heroic ending to the fight from George, and yeah, it was a grandstand finish, as you put it.
Shane, is the win made all the sweeter after everything was said in the build-up? They made a lot of personal attacks on you and George.
Yeah, but you know, we're not out here to prove EUBANK Senior or EUBANK Junior or anybody else right and wrong. You know, George has always been the underdog. He's always been the B side. I'm just proud and privileged to be beside him as a friend, and you know, obviously as a coach, to see him when he was cobraed to where he is now.
Did his shoulder sort of have to be put back in, or did it pop back in? What kind of happened with the injury after?
We don't know.
How much pain was he in sort of after the decision?
Well, I think when your adrenaline's going all the time, I think he knew something was wrong. He wasn't able to throw with it. So as Cal said, just the fact that he was able to slip, slide, tie him up. And EUBANK Junior, I think one of the things we've got to allude to is that EUBANK Junior was hurt numerous times throughout that fight. He was hurt, stunned, and that's why he was so fatigued. His legs were so heavy, and he wasn't able to find the finishing touches, even when George had he had one hand, so he was fully in control.
Was he get the glove off? Because
yeah, we got the glove off in the ring.
Yeah. Didn't pull him out or something, was okay with it?
No, we got a guy called Kevin Lidlow, who's a top physio. Just been working with him for a long time. He secured the shoulder, and we were able to take the gloves and wraps off. So he's hands free, and he's on the way to hospital.
Sure, would you say that's George's best win?
From a personal standpoint, yes. From a boxing standpoint, I believe Chudinov was a better win than that.
Did you expect it to be that scrappy, Shane? Because it was some of the rounds were hard to score, and it was pretty untidy, with lots of missing. And did you count on that happening? Because that's the way you boxer sometimes.
He has to plant his feet to throw. The game plan was to offset his feet, give yourself as much space as possible, let him lunge in, and as soon as he lunged in, rather than step back again and let him come in with his next attack, it was to step back, nullify him and shut him down. And I feel like he couldn't adjust the whole way through that fight. It was simple, basic tactics that George was able to execute from the first round to the last round. And as George said, it's levels. You know, George really was on. You know, he wasn't showing everything he's got in that fight tonight. I feel like EUBANK just come unstuck in every department.
Did anything about EUBANK impress you tonight?
I mean, yeah, he took some good shots and he was able to keep coming back. I mean, the character of the man was able to come back, but you know, I feel like he looked lost in there tonight. And I feel like he needs to go and reassess his career. I believe he's a middleweight. Go back down to middleweight, get a good team around him, not Cowboys, and you know, rebuild.
Did George box sort of exactly as proud of your?
He couldn't. If they fought 10 times, I believe he beat 10 times out of 10, and I believe 5 times out of 10 he was socket. That's as simple as I could put it.
How important was the cut, Shane? Did that change the tempo of the fight at all?
I mean, I think it was more the power that stunned him, nullified him, slowed him down, made him apprehensive. I could hear the other corner screaming, "Come on, put the pressure on him, put the pressure on him." And he did, but he only felt like he was able to do it when he was in close, when he was physically pushing and punching off it. He never felt comfortable to set anything up with a long jab, never felt comfortable to trade right hands with George. You know, like, he was the invincible man going in there apparently tonight, and he come unstuck in many departments, I feel.
Coming to boxing, we'd just like to congratulate you on an absolute master plan, so well done.
Thank you, mate, appreciate it. But as I said, you know, we're only as good as your fighters, and he listens and he's learned from his mistakes, so very proud of him. So, appreciate it.
Was it you or the other Steve next week?
I think we're going to go out there, yeah.
How do you think it's going to go?
I think Smith will stop him mid to late rounds.
You expect Smith to be a tougher fight than you, mate?
Technically, yes, he boxed at a higher level as an international, as an amateur. He still wasn't. If you look at the guys that George Groves has lost to, Carl Froch, I think he won a bronze as a world champion, in the world championships as an amateur, and Badly Jack was a very, very top quality skilled operator as an amateur. So they were able to make that transition. I feel like Callum Smith has got very good amateur credentials and pedigree, but I still believe George has the tools to beat him.